And Brendan, I see a bit of sun behind you. That bodes well for the day.
Certainly does, Morena. Jason, yeah, a nice afternoon of racing in front of us with great northern day, and yes, bit of sun peeking out. It's certainly, if you're in the shaded area, it's probably not that warm, but once you get out to the front of the racetrack, it's a lovely day. And of course, we have had the walk around the racetrack as well. Great to see around sort of 30, 40, 50 people doing the Ellerslie walk on the steeplechase walk over the Ellerslie Hill. 3 times over the Ellerslie Hill, 4 horses, of course, in our feature of the day, and Lacustra heads that market up after the win in the Pakuranga Hunt Cup 2 weeks ago. But yes, testing conditions with the rain that has fallen throughout the week, rated a heavy 11. Let's get the latest, though, around track conditions. Emily Bosson caught up with Jason Fulford.
Jason, we've had beautiful weather for sort of the past week or so, but in the past 4 days there's been quite a lot of rain, hasn't there?
Yeah, it's been in the last 5 days. We've calculated 75 mils.
What about overnight? Has there been significant rainfall?
Well, it's quite average, really. There's been 13 mils, but it came in sudden downpours through the course of the night in 3 or 4 episodes with a bit of thunder and lightning and hail, believe it or not.
How has that impacted the track?
Well, on top of what we've already had was 63 mils before last night. So, you know, there's a little bit of surface water at the beginning of this morning. That's all clearing up now. The track will perform quite loose to begin with for the first half of the day. Later on in the day, it's going to get quite holding. We've got a breeze as we speak, and that breeze will pick up.
How will it compare to Pakuranga Hunt Day?
Oh, I think it's going to be very, very similar.
So it's Jack Curator there and Jason Fulford. Jason, just discussing around track conditions for the race meeting ahead, but we'll better crack into it. In the first preview, first race we're going to preview will be race number 2.
Thanks, Brendan. I'm going to play 2 roles today, go through the market and also be Stephen Hunt. Thanks to Thad Taylor for passing on the information about the market movers. And the Barfoot and Thompson 1200, as mentioned, is the first that we'll look at. Quite an even spread of money with most given a chance here. Dawn Patrol has been steady in betting, but the best back runner, Speedy Meaty, $3.50 on opening into $3.20. And on the map, you would expect that Speedy Meaty would possibly lead this. It's not easy, Brendan, to find an outright leader. You just couldn't imagine that they'd want to have Dawn Patrol facing the breeze, given what's happened to him in the past when he has.
That's right. I mean, he's a horse that has obviously really wanted to overdo things, hasn't he? Dawn Patrol, we know his ability. Look, his ability as a Group 1 horse. I mean, he ran second in a 2000 Guineas. He's run some great races through the 3-year-old campaign, placed in an Uncle Remus, and also placed very close placing as well in the Wellington Guineas. He's done a nice trial to get himself ready for this race. The one question mark around Speedy Meaty could be just with where he sits as well. He's 133 days since his last run, and they've scratched him a couple of times. He just hasn't quite been 100% has Speedy Meaty. Let's talk about Dawn Patrol first of all. This is his most recent trial where he trialled up dead heating with Magnum. A runner that is out of the Frank Ritchie barn. Jonathan Riddell did the trial riding here on this occasion. He's held together nicely up against the rail with Magnum going with that runner on the line to dead heat at a recent trial on the inside track at Tarapa. So Dawn Patrol having start number 7 today. Now this is a very good win from a horse who competes in the Cambridge Breeders and dead heats with Vigor Winner. Now we know what Vigor Winner has done post this, and that was of course on Saturday just gone by winning out of Hawke's Bay, and is a runner that is looking towards some Group 1 spoils now. So the form lines up. This is always a good race. I mean, the Cambridge Breeders race is a race that holds up as a read for a number of years, and Speedy Meaty, he went round at a very big quote in this race. Stephen Ralph was quietly confident the horse could do something like this. Burst between runners. Vigor Winner goes with it again on the line, which was a massive run from Vigor Winner to even dead heat in the race, and has finished as a dead heat winner. So as I said, just a little question mark with him with just where he sits in terms of being ready for today's race, but he's got a class factor, as has probably Lily Thunder as well, to a point, because Lily Thunder can operate on these track conditions, but we haven't seen her for 98 days as well. So I'm just going to go with Just a Canter on the back in a flash form, and also with the horse being up and running throughout the winter months. Those placings have been strong enough from him to suggest that maybe he can just have that upper hand on those other better performed horses in the race. So I was happy just to take a little risk. It is a money back special race as well, up to $30 back. So 5, 2, 3, 1, but intriguing little race with those better performers in the race.
Handy to have that as a money-back race, that's for sure. Race number 3 is a rating 82, the Stella Artois 1600, where Irish Flame is $2.70. Not too much action here. The worst result will be if Flying Fantasia wins. Is $14 the win and $2.50 for the place. And decent money for LIR at $6.50. Now, this is a real tricky race from a speed perspective. Here is the Form Pro rating speed map, and no green here, BP.
No, that's not. This is again a small, awkward race. Now, the other thing to play into this race is the interprovincial form, obviously with Irish Flame, who beats out Scaglione, and now they clash again today. And where they sit, well, Irish Flame has 60 kilos, won this race with 59 kilograms, and of course held out Irish Flame, who carried the 51 kilos on this occasion and has that again today with the 3 kilo claim of Ashwin Gundasamy. What I will say about Irish Flame, he's a big strong horse that will be able to carry the weight. We saw him win here with a lot of weight in a 72 graded race over 1600 metres on Auckland Cup Day, and he was able to plough through the ground in what was heavy conditions on that occasion. So I'm happy to take the risk on him that he could do something similar again. We've seen him do it at this venue. Lee Thinnis was aboard the runner when he did win here on Auckland Cup Day in those tough conditions. So I'll go with him over the 6 runner in Scaglione. Obviously, Scaglione has that pull on the weights again and has the opportunity to go past him if they possibly can do so with that weight relief of Ashwin aboard. And then after that, LIR, well, we know that LIR can handle these conditions. It's a matter of where she is now in her preparation. She's coming to the end of her preparation. She won here on a heavy surface back through June. But I'll mark the 1 in front of the 6 in race number 3.
The Great Northern Hurdle is brought to you by Boutique Body Corporates for 2019, and Lakekeeper, the best-backed runner, is $3.60. Bookmakers have held firm that price, so they're letting you get on, but they have said it is the best-backed runner. Trisha Lee and King Oberon have also attracted good support. Magic Cannon has shortened into $17 from an opening quote of 21, so a sprinkling of money for horse number 9, Magic Cannon. Your thoughts on the hurdle here, BP?
Yeah, despite smaller numbers, we've got the right horses competing in the race, don't we? We've got Lakekeeper, who won the Pakuranga Hunt, which is always such a key guide for both the hurdles and the steeplechase. You've got a Wellington Hurdles winner in No Tip, who ran second in the Pakuranga Hunt. And then you've got the addition of Alfie D and also Bad Boy Brown. Now, those two were the Quinella and the Grand National. And then you've got the most interesting horse I find in this race in Trisha Lee, who's won 2 races out of Te Araha and recently won on Sunday just gone out of Te Araha as well. Now, this horse 4 starts ago won the Parliamentary. Now, we saw how tough she was to be able to win on that occasion, and Kylie Little has spoken a lot about her being very tough and how she can keep on finding, because in this race here, these 2 horses, they went from a long way from home. The leader then finds Henry Tudor sort of under the palms and looked as though maybe had Trisha Lee off the bit, but she just responded and she was able to rein this horse in, ridden on this occasion by Charlie Studd. Here's the concluding stages, and this is what Charlie Studd said post-race after winning.
Thanks, Brendan. Yeah, I've got the man here himself. And last week on Trisha Lee, you said, if I get the right conditions, I'll win. Are they the right conditions today?
We've had 13 mils overnight, so I'm pretty hopeful. A bit later in the day than her first 2 starts over hurdles has been the first races of the day, and she's had the best track. So it'll be a bit cut up by then. Race 6, I think we are. It'll be tough in drying conditions as well, but I think it'll suit her down to the ground.
It was a big statement to make last week. She must have given you a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, the first day I sat on her, and she's an exceptional horse on the flat. Parliamentary winner not too many starts ago. Been jumping for seasons and just loves it. Is the right type to go jumping, open handicap off for the flat, and by the right sire. So it's exceptional being a mare as well. It's a huge buzz riding a horse like that.
In the first, you got Flying Without Wings. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, he stepped up, huge run for his second start here, but that's a very sticky track. The slightly changing conditions might struggle, might just get to him a little bit, but he has had wind trouble in the past.
Thanks, Charlie. Brendan, that's it from us. And Charlie, pretty confident with Trisha Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Yeah, a big statement from Charlie Studd, and unfortunately we just missed it there, but what he did say in that post-race interview, in the right conditions, she can win the Great Northern Hurdles coming up on Saturday. So, look, a huge call after just coming out and winning her second start over the hurdles, but is it a case of the new kid on the block against some of these horses who have been there or thereabouts for, look, a number of these big assignments? And look, it's not beyond a horse like this to do exactly that. We saw it only about a month and a half ago, of course, with Alfie D going in as winning as just the second time over the jump. So for start number 5, made it win number 2. So it's not beyond her, and we've seen how tough she can be. So look, I'm happy to roll the dice on her at $7 with Trisha Lee. But obviously Laykeeper was so impressive in winning the Pakatanga Hunt as well, Jason. He got it all together. He got it all right, didn't he, here a couple of weeks ago? So he's a major contender, is this runner in Laykeeper, who ran third last year when held out of Te Araha. Big respect around the two runner as well, with Aaron Kuru and Nelson McDougall training partnership of that horse, who slogged it out at Trentham when winning the Wellington hurdles. But yep, happy to take that little risk on Trisha Lee at around that $7.
It's an outstanding renewal of the Great Northern Hurdle with boutique body corporate. Not large in numbers, but it's certainly high in quality, that is for sure. Best backed runner lines up in the 7th. The best backed runner anywhere today, and therefore at Ellerslie. Back in a Flash is $2.40. The celebrating Melody Bell 1400. $5 for Herengawe. Mongolian Marshal has been specced and firm, as has Concert Hall at $6.50. No money for Rondinella, Friendless, and a massive drifter. You can see it now at $9.50. Interesting runner, Smart as you think, at $16. Probably not today. You'd want to see a bit more from her on the track to get confident about backing her. But this is the map here, Brendan.
Look, this is a race where great to see that some of these better horses back. It'd be interesting if they want to be positive with Contessa Vanessa. I actually didn't mind her run first up. She paraded well, and she's a horse that will take big improvement from her first up assignment, Contessa Vanessa. But Rondinella, it's a race where they just needed to get her campaign up and running before heading off to Melbourne, and she's certainly not going to have a gut buster. She's going to take so much from this before heading to Australia. She does have to carry 60 kilos as well, and we know that she's got Group 1 form next year, her name in this country, and I've got better sights as well with her. And then you have to say the same about Concert Hall. Now, Concert Hall's a horse who has got very good turn of foot. We saw that when winning the Cuddle Stakes, but again, unknown, a massive unknown on these type of track conditions. Now, what they do have on their side is obviously a clear class factor, but it's a matter of the residual fitness of a Back in a Flash, who won so impressively here 2 weeks ago, and a horse that can step up to this better grade on these type of track conditions. So, look, I was right in her camp today. I have been for quite some time, and I'm really happy to be playing her at the 250, 240 mark. She just, every time I keep coming back to this race, I just want to keep putting more on her. So I'll go with Back in a Flash to sit back and then wind them in down the straight. Probably Mongolian Marshal out of those fresh horses might be the one that can run a race, Jason. I saw enough in his trial. Of course, it was out of Taupo. He was just in behind them. He's a horse that was good enough to win the Waikato Cup as well through the summer and competed through those Cups races. So he might be that little fly in the ointment out of those better runners in the race that could run a race. And then Hiranawe, number 5, now ran a grand race in the Opanaki Cup behind Helena Baby, running 3rd. 6th in the Winter Cup, again has that residual fitness in the race, but I marked Back in a Flash as my best bet of the day.
And also was the best bet for Michael Guerin on the first call yesterday, and the money very much speaking there. Back in a Flash. Race number 8, so the Network Visuals Great Northern Steeplechase, where Lacustra's $2.50. Bookmakers happy with that price. They're attracting money at that price, and the quote, price spot on. Good money for Max at $4.50. The shortener you can see there, Crash Bandicoot, $15 into $10. Kevin Myers, the trainer of Crash Bandicoot. How did you assess race number 8 here, Brendan Popwell?
Look, Lacustra comes into the race with such a dominant win 2 weeks ago. It's the logical stepping stone into the race. It jumps well here at Ellerslie. I think that's another key point, is the horse really does enjoy the Ellerslie fences. Won the maiden steeplechase here, ran a grand race in a McGregor Grant as well, did Lacustra, and then that effort in the Pakatanga Hunt. So hard to go past what he did here. Yes, he does have to go another lap over the Ellerslie Hill. I find that the best form reference, really, that race, because the Arabian Duke is not out of this race because he was making ground. He looks like he's going to be suited to having an extra lap over the Ellerslie Hill. I find him the biggest danger with what he did here a couple of weeks ago, and even haven't minded what he's done leading up towards the Great Northern. I think they've got the preparation bang on with him so far. So he's your saver in the market, I thought, around the Arabian Duke. And then Max. Now, Max, of course, won the McGregor Grant, and Raymond Connors has been very careful about trying to place this horse in the right races leading into this race. This is the one they've had their eyes on. He was working home into 4th position in the Pakatanga Hunt, was Max. And then outside of that, you've got horses like Wise Men Say. Can he turn his form around? The 2017 winner. Crash Bandicoot's the one that I'm keen to sort of lob into my numbers, though. I saw him at Te Araha last week, and he was a horse who was only a length and a half off them. He can be an improver off that, and the money is talking around him being a chance in the race as well, Jason.
Okay, Brendan, you've got $100 as you do on the Punters Lounge Live each and every week. How do you distribute it to make money?
I'm going to go with $60 on my best bet today. That being Back in a Flash at around that 240, 250 mark. I was happy to have something on Bring to the Block, so I made that my value bet today in race number 4. This horse is going right-handed for the first time, but I've loved her 2 runs back so far. She won't mind the track conditions. She has won third up a couple of preparations ago, so Bring to the Block at around $8. Halle Berry in race number 10. Key scratching in that race of Frozen. This horse looked on point with the recent runs and behind 5 stars out of Tarapa, 2 kilos off with Taiki Yanagita down to 54.5. The horse who ran a top race behind Back in a Flash even in that Taranaki Challenge race 12 months ago. So I was liking that horse's chances in race number 10, Jason.